Welcome back, everyone, to Domception podcast, hosted by your favorite Femdom duo, Meela and Lola.
Thank you for joining us again, and just sit back and let us, as I say, take the lead.
The famous line. So what's been up with you lately?
This weather is just bipolar over here. Like, it was so hot a couple days ago. Now it's just freezing cold.
Yeah, same here. I'm not sure where everybody's from who listens, but right now we had a week of like 70-degree weather, and then it turned into 20 degrees. It was so cold.
And then, like, snow again. We're like, I thought we were done with the snow. It's spring.
Oh my God, I know. We're recording this right now. It's April 2nd, so whenever this comes out, but April 2nd, it was snowing, just so everybody knows.
And we live on the East Coast where,
Yeah.
we deal with the bipolar weather.
Yeah, we get all four seasons here. Fall is usually only a week long, and that sucks.
Yeah, not wrong about that. It is my favorite season, though.
Yeah, it's my favorite too. What's your favorite season, guys? Comment down below.
So what's going on with you, Meela?
Honestly, not too much. I can't remember if I said this on the last podcast, but I moved into a new apartment, so I'm here now.
Woo, round of applause. Woo.
Yay! If you guys want to pay any of my utilities, I'll drop the Cash App below. No, I'm kidding.
Oh wait, here's a special thing. If any of you guys want to see her do some MILF content, so she can buy like a Juicy Couture tracksuit,
Yes.
send her some money.
Lola sent it to me. Forever 21 and Juicy Couture partnered, and they have released tracksuits. And you guys know how much I love my tracksuits, so let's get it. Today's topic is going to be about. We talk about it a lot. I feel like we've talked about it in the podcast before, but definitely on our Twitters we've talked about it. We are going to talk about consent and maintaining consent throughout the entire session.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. And I feel like a lot of people kind of grasp the initial concept of, consent. Like, is it okay if we do something and somebody says yes or no? But there's also a lot of things that you should be aware of before doing that, because somebody might say, yeah, and that's not a full yes. You have to be able to read tones and stuff. So today we're going to talk about like reading tones and making sure that somebody's in the right headspace and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because consent is a big, big, major issue with, especially, it's not just sexually related or, it goes through everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Like, even in daily life, you have to make sure that people are on board with what you want to do if you're involving them. And, but yeah, like consent in daily life, and it's not only a sexual thing. And also a lot of times too on social media, if you're going to send somebody a dick pic, you got to ask if they want it.
Hey, you want to see my big old chubby dick?
I would immediately say no, but I would appreciate if you asked first. So before you do any type of sexual activity, you got to make sure both parties are consenting. That sounds
it's hard to cut you off.
You're fine.
But as I've tweeted, consent is so hot.
Yeah, then people had a problem with that.
Jesus Christ, I swear, people just don't even get me started.
Yes, we're not going to get started on that one. But yeah, consent is hot. Honestly, in my personal preference and opinion, because my opinion is the only one that matters, just so everybody already knows that. No, I'm kidding.
She's going to pummel you to pebbles if you don't listen to her opinion.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to pummel you. But I feel like I honestly think it's such a huge turn on if somebody is asking me the entire time, like, is it okay if I do this now? Is it okay if I do this? Like, hell yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, especially, making sure that they're, again, okay with it. How are they doing? That you're not hurting them or something.
Oh, yes, definitely. Especially like if you're going to involve something that's a little bit more extreme than the typical vanilla stuff, making sure somebody's comfortable is so huge. You don't want to be hurting somebody unless they consensually want to be hurt.
Yeah, even though like BDSM consists of pain, not everybody's actually going to fully enjoy it.
That's right. Exactly. Definitely. So if you don't have a solid answer from the other person, you should not continue. And that means if you don't have a yes, I want to do this, you shouldn't continue with them.
Yeah, because that's just gonna have some bad consequences, as we all know.
Definitely. If somebody is yes, if they say yes, but they seem hesitant and they kind of seem like they're not into it, you have to be able to kind of acknowledge those cues and that body language because there's a lot of times where people have said, yeah, we can do that, but like they aren't actually into it. They don't want to do it.
Yeah, because it just sounds like they're just doing it because the other person wants to, so they can like please them, make sure that like
Hmm.
that they want to do it, but they really don't secretly.
Yeah, and if you're on the spot, it's kind of honestly really hard to say no. Like if you, let's say you went on a date with somebody and you bring them back home and they're like they ask you like, do you want to have sex? It's kind of hard because you don't really know that person that well, so because you don't know how they'll react if you say no. So some people will end up saying yes even though they mean no.
It's almost like the whole like trying to fit in a crowd kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
you want to do it because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't want to like disappoint someone, so sometimes people will say yes because they don't want to make the other person feel disappointed.
Exactly.
Um, so if somebody has said no, they say, I don't know. They say not right now, or they're trying to change the topic. If you brought up like, hey, let's have sex, and they're like, actually, I was thinking of like a movie. Don't keep pestering them. Do not do that.
That just makes you a jerk, and like it just is gonna freak them out even more.
Definitely. Like, ugh, I hate that so much because I mean, I feel like almost everyone who's like had a like encounter with somebody has had that happen where they're like they've already said no or they said I don't know or like not right now. The person will keep kind of pestering them about it. Like, okay, so we can't have sex right now, but like, would you like want to give me head or something? Like, stop. Don't do that.
Exactly. Like, what makes you think just because the person has agreed to go on a date with you or do an activity that you all of a sudden you think that they're just gonna give you something sexual in return?
Definitely. And I feel like it's kind of with that whole mindset, people are expecting something, and then the person who is supposed to answer the question and in their brain, the person who asked are supposed to do the thing. It makes them kind of always respond with like a yes, even though I've already said this, but they mean no, because like that pressure is already built there. It's like a societal thing almost in a way, because I feel like recently um, we've really been hammering consent in like our society. And so it's kind of like changing up the game right now. And it should have always been the game, but I feel like people aren't really used to being able to say no, to be honest.
And especially with like technology these days, like people will also try to like blackmail you into doing something without your consent.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, there's crazy people out there who if you've told them no, they try to be like, well, if you don't do this, I'm gonna do this. And that you are the worst type of person. I'm gonna pummel you into little baby tiny pebbles. Just so you know, if you're out there and you're listening to this, I'm coming for you.
It's again, it's like the whole like guilt tripping type of thing and gaslighting.
Yeah, like um if somebody does say no to you, or if you've picked up that they are trying to say no to you but they can't say no, they're kind of scared to say no, you should act respectfully to that. You should be like, oh my gosh, that's totally fine, we don't have to do anything. So that way somebody doesn't feel guilted into doing something with you.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like put yourself in that situation. Do you want to do something that you actually don't feel comfortable doing?
Hmm.
So why would you do that to the other person?
And I'm losing my voice again. It's it's not like funny to me, but it's just like it's kind of ironic because there will be men who will be like to me, like, let me fuck you, and I'll be like, no, I'm not, I don't want to fuck you, and then I'll turn it around on them. I'll be like, let me fuck you though, like I peg people, and they'll be like, I'm not into that. I'm not into that. Hell no. What do you think I am? So like, you see how that like double standard is?
Yeah, exactly. Again, like especially it's always the men targeting the woman in a way. Like not to like I don't want to like just stereotype just the women and men because it obviously happens with all genders and everything, but like it's usually what happens is between the man trying to force a woman into doing something without her consent.
That's right. It's definitely, I would say, a majority of the time, definitely men are trying to make themselves happy in the way that they want to make themselves happy, which is trying to get laid.
Exactly.
And like women obviously do that too, definitely. But it's definitely this market right now for consent awareness is definitely geared more towards men because I mean, if we're going to be honest, guys, most sexual assaults are perpetrated by men, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, and like again, we're not saying that it's like 100% always just going to be men and women because obviously also men get attacked
Yeah,
or
that's right. And you know, and for any women who's listening to this, don't push a guy into something that they don't want to do either. Like for me, like for instance, I like to peg. If a man does not want me to peg them, I'm not going to push them into like getting pegged. You can say no to me. I will 100% accept that answer. I respect your answer. But I'm not going to sit there and pester you about it. Like, um, you know, were you really not going to let me peg you? Are you serious? Like such a wimp. I would never do that. I'm sure somewhere out there there is women who do that, and you listening, ladies? Coming for ya. So to start off with like a little bit of I have a little story time. So since we're talking about consent, and I actually have an instance where somebody wasn't giving me a solid yes, and I asked a guy if I could peg him, and he said that he would consider it, and I said, I don't want you to say like you'll consider it. I either want like a yes or a no because I don't want to obviously, you know, overstep a boundary. And then he said, well, you could do it to me if I'm drunk. Again, you cannot consent if you're drunk. I would never do that. And I told him that. I said, I am not going to peg you if you're drunk. I want you 100% to be sober, and I want it to be something that you want to do. I don't want you to have to be like doing it for me, and I also don't want you to be doing it while you're drunk either.
that is just some like really as they say sus type of thing to say.
It is. It's very sus behavior. I if you're somebody who thinks that the only way you can get laid or something like that is if to have the other person drunk, you are a monster.
But I also feel like when it comes to guys saying that, it's like they're afraid of their sexuality or something, you know?
Yeah, you're right, definitely. There's definitely a whole stigma on some of the things that I do, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with it. So, especially with such a very sensitive topic such as that, I definitely want somebody to be comfortable with it because I don't want somebody to regret it later.
Yeah, it's very, very true.
hmm So, since we're talking about drunk people, the right headspace definitely matters. If you're drunk, if you're tipsy and if you can't rationally make a logical yes or no answer, if you're high, if you're potentially vulnerable, and when I say that, I mean like let's say you just got out of a relationship or something and you're very mentally distraught, or this one is really painful, but if a family member had passed away or something, and you can't really you're not really thinking straight, then they can't consent.
Yeah, never let someone take advantage of you just because you're going through a hard time.
Definitely, because whenever you're at a very vulnerable point, you aren't thinking as clearly as you normally would, and people can take advantage of that because you might be more easily persuaded to do something that you wouldn't have done normally whenever you are thinking straight.
And plus, usually when people are intoxicated or, again, vulnerable, that's when like they'll make mistakes and then they regret it later on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think almost all of us have had a personal experience where we've been vulnerable and we've did something, whether it be sexual or not, but that we totally regret because we weren't thinking clearly.
Oh God, don't trigger anything in my mind.
Sorry if I triggered you guys. Um, Another thing definitely is if you're doing kink play, if you're doing something that is definitely not in the realms of the vanilla world, you definitely need to have consent from both parties.
Especially since a lot of people like to engage in rape play.
That's right. Rape play and consensual non-consent, also shortened as CNC. is definitely a very, very touchy kink play where you need to make sure somebody is consenting. If you are going to do something like that, you need to, like, if you're going to do it, talk about it immediately before you do it. Like, okay, we're going to do CNC. Are you good with this? Yes or no? Because you can't just, let's say you guys are both into CNC and rape play, and one of you guys just starts doing it, and the person is actually saying no. How are you going to tell?
Yeah, especially because, like, from what I've seen on, like, online, especially in the K-pop Twitter world, where
Uh,
where people, their idols, they say, "Oh, step on me, choke on me. If I were to see them, they can do anything they want to me." But if in
mhm.
reality, if you were actually put in that situation, would you actually let them do all this disturbing stuff to you?
Right, exactly. You definitely have to be careful because people can take what you say and twist it into another thing.
It's like also saying like, "Mila, please step on my throat."
Do you want me to step on your throat or not?
Yes, I give you all my consent.
No, thank you. Thank you for giving me your consent. I really appreciate that.
See, people, it's easy as that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's so easy. You see that? That was a good example. So yeah, make sure, beforehand if you guys are going to do something kink play related, something that's not, typically the norm, that both parties are in agreement that the session is going to happen. Um, you can create a safe word. If there is a kink play that you are doing and it's obstructing your ability to speak, because there are some types of kinks where, you have a gag in your mouth or so on and so forth, create a type of safe action.
Yeah, so that way they know that to stop and
Mhm.
to not keep doing it.
Yeah, and like you can, so if you are vocally obstructed, you can, create like the safe action could be snapping your fingers twice, or maybe you could like tap them in a certain way that they will understand that that's a sign that you need to take a break or you're not consenting anymore.
Yeah, because don't keep doing something that you know you're not comfortable doing
Mhm.
just because the other person is finding some sort of joy into it, but you're not.
Definitely. It's definitely hard for people who, if you're just meeting somebody, you guys aren't like as close as you could potentially be. It's really hard to kind of step up and say no, that you don't want to do it anymore. But I'm telling you, you will feel so relieved if you want to stop and you tell the person to stop. Hopefully the person that you're doing stuff with is a good person and they will respect your decision. Hopefully they should. If they don't, you let me know. Um, but yeah, it's so hard to speak up. But if you can, definitely, speak up if you don't want to do something anymore.
So let me ask you this. What do I do if someone says no?
Ooh, that is a great question. If someone says no, you've asked somebody to do something and they said no, you want to make the environment feel really safe and comfortable, because people definitely feel guilty whenever they say no. They feel like they've let you down. So you want to tell them, like, it's totally okay that you said no. I appreciate you telling me that you said no. Um, you know, make sure that they know that you are okay with that answer.
Yeah, but here's like another point I want to bring up.
Hmm.
When you tell them no and all of a sudden you just don't feel safe because they keep pressuring after you said no,
Hmm.
what would you tell someone to do after that?
Oh, actually a really good question. So if you've said no already to this person and the person keeps pestering you and pestering you, if you can safely, if you can leave, if they have came to you and you want them to leave, you can, tell them, could you leave? But if you don't feel safe enough to tell them to leave, you can also, get to a safe place in your house, call somebody who can come over. The police haven't really been very helpful these days. So if you have a trusted friend or a family member that you can rely on, have them come over for physical support, because if this person is an aggressive person, they're seeming like they're aggressive, you're reading their body language, you definitely want to have somebody there who can help you, remove the parasite from your home. um, But yeah, if anything, if you can do anything, try your best to get out of this situation, because this is really setting up a very scary environment. If somebody cannot take no for an answer, what else are they, what else aren't they going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially because, God forbid, you never know how scary or violent the situation could turn into.
Definitely. And also too, like, if I said no to somebody and they keep pressuring me to do something else, I already do not like this person anymore. Like, I might have liked you before. Maybe we were getting along really well. I've told you no and you keep pressuring me. I do not like you anymore. I immediately do not like you anymore. I want to leave immediately. If you're at my house, I want you to go. If we're out on a date, I'm leaving. I'm getting in my car and leaving, because you've already put a horrible taste in my mouth from that. I don't ever want to see you again. So, yeah.
That that's like another thing with the whole having someone over your place. Don't bring someone to your place if you just started talking to
I'm
them.
guilty.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
And you know what, though? Like, part of a story time, you guys, I should have listened to Lola on this. I brought somebody over for a dick appointment, and they crossed all of my boundaries, and I definitely felt too scared to tell them to get out. I wasn't able to get enough courage to tell that person that I don't want to talk to them anymore until after they were gone. And, there was things that were done that I wasn't really into, and I couldn't speak up for myself. So if you guys can't speak up for yourself, I am there morally supporting you in spirit.
because again, like I get it. Like if you feel more comfortable at your home,
Mhm.
that can still be what's the word? Like messed with, because
Mhm.
now they're gonna know where you live, especially if you turn them down. Like always, like again, like I don't know if we talked about it in our last episode with the dating app thing.
Mhm.
Always go to a public place
Mhm.
where you and tell your friends or family where you're gonna be
Mhm.
and who you're seeing.
Yeah, definitely. Until you feel like you can trust that person enough with personal sensitive information such as your address and where you live, we definitely recommend that you don't bring them over to your house immediately, because that is your safe comfort space. And for some people, their home is their only safe and comfort, zone. So if that comfort zone is violated, you now have a maniac who knows your address. You can never feel safe at your house anymore.
Yeah, because now you're just gonna be paranoid and anxious and
hmm
scared to leave your house or even like turn your back.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And unfortunately, there's just way too many crazy people who will make you not feel safe in your own safe space.
Especially if they see that they got your so-called first consent of coming over to your place, and now they think, oh, okay, maybe they're gonna let me do whatever I want. That's non-consent.
Yeah, you tell them. That is so true.
Gosh, I'm sorry. Like the things Meela has freaking done and told me. I swear to God, I just want to punch her in the face.
There,
I hope you guys know that.
there are so many things, honestly, that I could have prevented if I took active steps to protect myself. And I definitely have made some very, very dumb mistakes, because I was thinking you could trust somebody, because I'm honestly, guys, I'm really naive, and I have a very trusting personality, and I'm like, oh, I could trust this person. We've talked on the phone for so long.
If only, I'm sorry, but if only you could see me just shaking my head and pinching myself. I'm just like, good God.
Honestly, though, because I am such a trusting person, I definitely should be. Me and Lola are complete opposite. She trusts nobody, and I trust almost everybody.
Because like, okay, we're probably going staring off the topic, but I mean, we've talked a few good points, but
Mhm.
like you I can't even put words into my mouth to talk about this. But you can't trust everybody. Not everyone's gonna have your best interests at
You're
heart.
definitely right. Definitely. 100 and 1,000,000,000%. Even if you feel like you do know them. Heck, it could even be like your husband, or your wife.
Yeah, and like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm always right.
She's a Virgo, you guys, if you guys didn't know.
And of course, Meela's an Aries, so of course she's chaotic.
We're Jenna and Julie and you guys.
They love the chaos, don't they?
We're thriving in the chaos. Um, so yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a recap and then we're going to get into some cues, and you guys can always send cues to my Curious Cat. I don't have it linked anywhere. I need to put it in all my links on Twitter so that way it's easy to access.
Yeah, ask us anything you've been so curious on about us.
Yeah, you guys, we also were contemplating just doing a whole entire Q&A episode, so if that's something that you guys wanted to hear us answer cues about, we can do that.
I know, I feel like that'd be very fun because like you'll get to know more about us, because especially since I'm very secretive.
Oh yeah, Lola is so mysterious and secretive. Like literally, you guys, I've been her friend for 2 years, and there's still stuff that like I don't know, and stuff that wasn't revealed to me until very later.
I like to keep the element of surprise.
And also too, I only want her consent to tell me her secrets, so I'm not gonna pressure her to tell me stuff.
Smooth. You're so smooth, Daddy.
Hell yeah, I am. I'm trying my best over here. But so yeah, make sure somebody's in the right headspace. Make a safe environment for you guys to do things that you want to do. If you guys are going to do kink play, go through the entire setup that you guys are thinking about, because some kink play involves other types of other kink play. So go through the things that you guys want to do with each other. Make sure that you guys are all on the same page about them, because like for instance, somebody might be into sex but they might not be into oral. So you don't want to do something that somebody doesn't want to do. So you always ask.
Yeah, like don't shove your dick down someone's throat.
Exactly. And a lot of people are into that and a lot of people aren't into that. So you got to make sure that somebody's into that before you do it.
Yeah, and again, like have a safe word or a safe action, as Meela said, like snap your fingers or tap out type of thing.
Tap out.
WWE.
I met Seth Rollins once, you guys. Anyways, go on.
What?
I'm trying to think. What else do we talk about? We are going nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry you guys. We're chaotic, as you could tell. Obviously don't initiate things if you're drunk, high, vulnerable, anything like that, like where you're not mentally and emotionally there.
Definitely, 100%. And don't initiate if you're in a vulnerable position, and also don't ask somebody to do things if you're picking up on their body language and they're not in a good headspace.
Exactly, because again, that situation is not going to turn out well.
Yeah, it definitely won't. If there's any chance that somebody's going to regret something, definitely don't do that.
Correct. I think we've pretty much covered it all, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, one more thing before we get into our cues for today.
Yes.
If you are doing a type of kink play where you can be vocal, you guys can implement the traffic light consent. So what happens is green obviously means keep going, yellow means slow down, and then red means stop. So you can ask somebody, sometimes it's easier. Did I talk about this on the last podcast?
I don't think so, honestly.
Sometimes it's easier if it's hard for people to say no, but sometimes it's easier for people to say like, hey, what's your color right now? And you can say, my color right now is green, so you can keep going. Or my color right now is yellow, so I need you to slow down for me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't be afraid to speak up, honestly.
Definitely. You will definitely not regret it if you are not wanting to do it. You don't want to put yourself through that torture.
And again, don't do something because you want to fit in with everybody else. Be like, oh, they've done this. Maybe I should try it too. I'll probably like it. And then when you do try it, you're not going to actually like it.
Definitely. If you're not 100% sure about something, exploration is great and everything, but I feel like you really need to be into something, especially if it's a very serious type of play that you guys are going to do, like CNC or something like that. You need to make sure that it's something that you actually do want to try before you do try it.
I agree 100%.
All right, so let's get into some cues. Let's see. You know what? I had an answer for one of these cues, and it was such a good answer, and I forget. Let me pull him up. Okay.
Dun 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 dun. Here's some music for you guys.
Stop for
Woo!
me. Okay. If somebody narrated your life, who would you want to be the narrator?
Huh. Do you have an answer?
I do have an answer, so I'm not sure if you're gonna know who it is. I kind of want to Google it, but the guy who does the voice of Spike from Cowboy Bebop, he also does the voice of Toonami Tom, the little robot. Before after Adult Swim would end and the anime would come on Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network's not everywhere, I don't think, in the world, but it's something in the U.S. But I love his voice.
Oh yeah, I think I know who exactly you're talking about, like the robot type thing.
Yeah, he was the robot right after Robot Chicken would end or something like that.
Who would I want to have narrate my life? Honestly, I've never thought about it, but recently I watched Birds of Prey. If anybody's seen that movie, it has Harley Quinn.
Ooh, you're a fan.
And yes, anybody knows me, Suicide Squad is my favorite movie.
Oh,
But she was like narrating in her movie, so I'd like to have her because she is full of craziness and like I'm not crazy, but like mentally I probably am. So I'd rather have her do it.
that's a good choice, definitely. The next cue is, what emoji do you use the most?
Oh shit. I feel like the one I use the most is the well, I think there's two. Obviously like the little like ooh face
Oh yeah.
and the like I guess it would be like the side eye look face, you know, the one that I always use.
Yes.
I feel like those two.
I would say I have probably like a top 5 emojis. I like the crying laughing. I like the pouty face. I like the 2 hearts, the 2 pink hearts, and I use the rose a lot actually, but I only use the rose whenever I'm like trying to thirst for someone. I'm like, here's a
Yeah,
rose for you.
I was gonna say, I was like, you don't use it with me, gosh.
Yeah, the rose is for consenting DTF people.
The cabs are here.
The cabs are here. That was such a horrible accent. Jim, tan laundry. You guys remember Jersey Shore?
Oh man, what was the word they used to call, unfortunately, like the people who weren't good looking?
Grenades.
Yes, the grenades.
This one's even worse. Actually, I don't know if I should even say it, but Mike's situation, he wasn't a very good person and he would call people hippopotamuses. And I was like, oh my God, Mike, you're literally going to get beat up. And he did get beat up a couple of times.
Oh, we'll not forget also he got beat up by the wall in Italy where he like bashed his head against the wall.
we should have just a whole episode of just us talking about Jersey Shore.
Oh man, that was such a good show back in high
Who was
school.
your favorite character? Character? Who was your favorite person? Like an
I was like,
anime?
hold on.
Like an anime?
Honestly, it had to be Pauly D and Vinny.
Yeah, Polly and Vinny literally are the only reason why I've stuck around. But I mean, also too, the Ron and Sam drama was really fun to stick around for.
Run, stab.
You know, what did she say? Don't talk about my big toe; it hurts my feelings. Something like that.
Oh man, I'm the sweetest bitch you'll ever meet.
Oh my God, I'm getting PTSD flashbacks from fucking Jersey Shore.
But now they're all living their best life now, having kids and married and all that stuff. So
Yeah, most of them are living their best life. I watched man, this people are probably like exiting the podcast. But I watched the reunion or whatever, and they brought back Angelina, and Angelina and JWoww and Snooki are still going at each other. But this is my personal opinion. I honestly think Snooki and JWoww kind of start some of the fights with Angelina. Just saying. Yeah, that
oh,
might be a hot topic. I'm just saying. But yeah. I think that's all we have to talk about today. What do you think?
yeah, I think we talked about a lot of pretty good stuff, and especially the way it was just chaotic,
Yeah,
actually.
this is probably our most chaotic episode.
So you guys can always let us know any like tips or what you thought about the whole topic podcast, what
Mhm.
we can work on, or stuff like that.
Yeah, we would love that. We love feedback. We love cues. We love getting suggestions. If you guys have any suggestions for topics.
Yeah, and also if like, I mean, not to bring it up again, but if you guys want to help us get a microphone.
Please. You guys already know, people who listen, my mic quality is so bad. I don't have a filter on my mic, and all you guys can hear is. So that's
That sounds like a wop.
so that's some ASMR for you guys. But yeah, you can ask us questions on Curious Cat. You can you can you can you can support our Patreon.
It's by searching Domception.
The Domception. Just Domception. It's just Domception, guys. And you guys can follow us
Or
on Twitter.
we're just having a good old time
They
here.
put something in the air on the East Coast. We're all tripping out. Okay, yeah. We love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.